Welcome to Something to Wrestle With.
Something to wrestle with.
Bruce Prichard.
Bruce Prichard.
Well, you know.
That's not a rib.
She put it.
Let's get to the main event here. That's why, this whole show was built. We celebrated WrestleMania 1 with Hulk Hogan posing in the middle of the ring. And he's the hero of the first several WrestleManias, even WrestleMania 9. But now it's the new generation. And this is what we're here for. Bret Hart pins Yokozuna in 10 minutes and 36 seconds to win the WWF title. And Meltzer would call it an anticlimactic match. Roddy Piper is the special guest referee that you've alluded to earlier. And, Meltzer would say Hart tried all he could, but this was nowhere near as good as their match at last year's WrestleMania or numerous house shows between the two. At one point, Piper decked Cornette, several near falls that get good pops, but the finish was weak, with Yokozuna setting up Hart for the banzai, but slipping and losing his balance and getting pinned as a result. And after the match, about a half dozen faces, including Luger, hit the ring for the celebration, with McMahon, Pat Patterson, and Gorilla Monsoon in as well. And Owen Hart comes down the aisle for a final scene, giving Bret a dirty look to end the show. 2.25 stars. I feel like he plays down the final scene. I loved it, especially when you know the story they're trying to tell with the brother and the sibling rivalry and the fact that he just beat him a couple hours ago. It was cool to see McMahon get in the ring, because that was something that wasn't very common back then. It was neat to see Pat Patterson out there and Gorilla Monsoon. There's the big tease of, hey, Luger's in here and he didn't really lose his match earlier, but he was screwed out of his title shot. What will this be? And when Bret extends his hand, Luger shakes it and it's fine. The finish though, I didn't hate it. But it doesn't feel like, they've positioned Bret Hart to be this monster slayer. Instead, he just takes advantage of Yokozuna almost beating himself. And it feels like that happened in both title matches. Lex Luger didn't really lose. He pushed a referee who wasn't maybe calling it straight down the middle and lost by DQ. And now Bret Hart didn't really beat Yokozuna. Yokozuna kind of beat himself because he himself tripped and fell. Was the booking done here to protect everybody? Maybe a mistake in hindsight and took something away from what could have been Bret's big moment, in your opinion?
No, because I think that, Bret pinned Yoko. He beat him and he pinned him, whether Yoko tripped or what have you. Bret still pinned him and he won the championship, and it wasn't a screw or anything funky like that. Did he make him submit to the sharpshooter? No, because we had to keep Yoko good, and we wanted to keep Yoko good for Undertaker in the summer. But, you go back and watch it. Yoko was gassed. I mean, oh my God, he was, it was like he was out of breath walking to the ring and just out of shape. And it was again, that part of it, watching Yoko lumber around the ring was a little difficult to watch at times. Bret did a lot better job than Lex did with him, because Bret worked around it and made everything as best he could. But it was a short match meant to get the championship on Bret Hart, and to get to our story with Bret and Owen, kind of forget about Yoko for a little bit. You got to your story with Perfect and Luger earlier, and now Yoko's going to kind of go off, and now Undertaker comes back later on, and you have your series of matches there. So we're trying to serve an awful lot of masters. However, I will say which is something that we don't do and we didn't do then. I loved the shot of Owen on the end, because it foreshadowed what was to come, and it reminded you of what took place, several hours earlier. I beat you, Bret. I'm the fucking guy. I beat the champion, and I'll do it again. To me, I loved it. And it just kind of put a nice little bow on the end of the show.
It was a fun finish. All the guys put Bret on their shoulders. You see the Macho Man jump up on the ropes and point to him. He's doing all he can to sort of lend his celebrity and credibility with the fans to put over Bret. It's a fun moment. And it really is Bret's night, because Bret wins the world title again, overcoming the obstacle of having to wrestle twice, and had a real classic to open the show. So after WrestleMania, Luger sort of fades back into the mid card. and by the next year is gone from the company, of course, jumping to debut on the first Nitro for WCW. Do you feel like maybe there was a missed opportunity here? I mean, should Lex have tried to turn heel at the end of the night, feeling like he was screwed? Or were you guys even considering that at this point?
In order for him to turn heel and mean anything as a heel at this point, he would have had to have meant a lot more as a babyface. Not only had we lost confidence in Lex, the audience had lost confidence in Lex, and I don't think that they would have cared. It was an experiment with Lex and tried everything that we could, and for various reasons just didn't work.
Sort of skipped over the fact that Diesel was here with Shawn Michaels before being ordered to the back. At this point, did you guys already have really high hopes for Diesel moving forward, or was he too green and just trying to feel it out?
Oh God, he was still considered green, but boy, you could see those wheels spinning with Vince, that big bastard, and just looking at him and going, one day we're going to get to that point where he's going to mean money and he's going to be something big. So yeah, the wheels were always spinning with Vince because he's big, mean, nasty looking son of a bitch.